Hello, everybody, and welcome to Unreal Engine 5 for Beginners. I am a whole turkey, and I will be walking you through the basics of what it takes to get started using certain aspects of this program. Today, we're going to look at just getting started. The very first thing that you're going to need is an Epic's game account and to download the Epic Games Launcher. Now, if you don't have this already, I have a link in the description below, and it should take you to a screen that looks a lot like this. And here, you will be able to select both make a new account and to download the launcher. Now, once both of those are completed, you are going to want to open up your launcher, and then right on the side, they have labeled Unreal Engine. You want to select that, and then select Unreal Engine 5. And here, we're going to get to download the early access. Now, this is where I suggest that you pause for a moment, and I should tell you that I did not download Unreal Engine to my main drive due to a storage problem. So I did not have enough space on there to get the project and all the projects I knew I wanted to build on later. So I installed it to one of my backup drives. Now I heavily suggest that if you have the space, install it to your main drive, because one problem I see is that when I open up my Unreal Engine launcher, I don't actually see my projects in the project browser. However, that is not a very big issue. You can still see it in the Epic Games library right over here and all my projects, and then you can also open up the projects individually at their file location. So there's a couple ways so you can still get into your files regardless of where you download it. But after you do have it downloaded, you're going to launch it. And then once that's done, you're going to get a screen that looks like this. And this is the Unreal Project browser that I mentioned a moment ago, where if you come into the recent projects, you can't see the stuff I'm working on because of how I chose to save it. If you save to your main file, you will likely not have this problem. For the point of this example today, we're going to go into Games, click on Blank, and then we're going to look at the bottom of the page, and this will show where our files are going to save and where you can find and open them again later. And also what we can call it. So we're just going to call this one Getting Started. And then the last thing I want to make sure is that this starter content right here is checked. We won't be using it very much for this video, but in our future videos, all of the content we're going to be using will be coming from in here. Then once we're all set and ready, we can just hit create. And boom. So now we are in Unreal Engine 5. So this main screen we have right here, this is going to be our viewport. You can look around the viewport by using the mouse wheel to zoom in and out. If you right click and hold and move around, you'll see that you can look around you. If you left click and hold and look around, you'll see that you can look left to right and move forward and backward in the way that you're looking. If you click and hold both mouse buttons, you'll see that you hold while facing the wall, but you can still move up, down, and left and right. In any of these three options, you can use the WASD keys to move around and the Q and E keys to move up and down. And that's the basics of how you're going to be moving around in Unreal Engine 5. To select something, you can just click on it in the viewport, or you can select it here in your world outliner, and then click F on your keyboard will snap you directly to it. And then while we're here looking at an object, sometimes we might want a perspective of it, and we have all this other clutter. One common shortcut that you're going to be using is pressing G, and that will take you in and out of game mode, so you will be seeing what someone playing it would be. And then you can press it again and go back into edit mode. So once we have our object selected, you'll notice that we have these arrows in here. And using these arrows, you can, if you don't see them and perhaps you see something else, you can press W and get them. And these arrows will allow us to move in any of our three directions, or even maybe two of them at the same time. E will give us these slides that will allow us to rotate and spin our object. And R will give us the ability to scale our object up and down in certain areas. And then finally Q will put us back into selection mode. And then once we have our object moved around, rotated, scaled correctly, and we want to have a certain angle, and we want to be able to come back and look at it from this angle, All we need to do is press Control and then a number. We're going to start with number 1. And then anytime you're somewhere else and you press 1 again, you'll snap back to that position. And this is really useful if you want to edit something from another perspective and then come back and see how it looks from the viewpoint where, say, you may be wanting your camera to be in the future. And if we look up here in the top right corner, we'll see that all of the transforming we did, the scaling, the rotating, can all be selected up here in gray. And we even have an additional option that can change us from transforming something with respect to the world, say if we wanted to rotate it, or rotating it with respect to itself. So in case you wanted to just spin something rather than go through a bunch of really complicated transforms to get it to be that way, if you were, say, in world rotation. You'll also see that we have these things here, and these will be grids for snapping, and we'll be able to turn these on and off, so that way we will be able to move to exactly where we want to be, or have some really fine-tuned control over exactly where we want it to snap. And we can turn that on and off, or change its values right up here. We can also see that a lot of the transform values are found here in the details window. Sky sphere selected, that's funny. So we can click here and we can select its rotation this way and this way here as well. And if at the end of the day you don't like how you've done it, they'll always have these little white arrows here to reset their default values. And the reason that sucked us back here is because these tables have some offset that's been defined, so you'll notice it's also no longer turned towards the inside. So you do sometimes want to be careful when resetting values here like that. Now let's take another look at our details tab here. So in this window, for any object we have selected, this will give us the information of its transforms, as we just said, but also the static mesh that the object is using and the material that's being applied to it, as well as a bunch of other settings and options that we can turn on and off. We'll be looking at more at all of these later. Above that, we have the world outliner. And the world outliner is going to list every object we have in our level, whether or not we can see it. And as you can see here, if I bring this down, it's also organized into folders. So that way we can keep track of things. And if we want to, say, not look at everything that our lights are doing, we can keep that one closed. So we can monitor other stuff like our meshes and what. And down here at the bottom, we're going to have our content drawer. And our content drawer is going to hold all the files we can use with this project. As you can see, we have the starter content in here, and that's because we had it checked on when we created this. You should be able to pull this up at almost any point. It'd be using Control and Space, depending on what you have selected. Customizability that it has is if we can come here and change our thumbnail size, so we can make it bigger or smaller so it could be easier to see. And I'm just going to come here and I'm going to make it a little bit large so that way it's a little bit easier for you guys to read what these say. If there's something you want to add to a project that's not in here, adding items is extremely easy. Say we just come over here and we make something in Paint 3D, which is also a free app that should come with Windows. You go over to Canvas, make it transparent, and just make something simple. Sign that says, well done, and say I want to bring this into Unreal. All I have to do is save it. We'll save it as an image to the desktop and just call it well done. Now all I need to do in order to get it in here is go to the desktop. I don't need to save it now. And where it shows up, which should be right here, and we just drag it and drop it right in to our content. And then when we go to apply it to a new material, it will make a material for us and apply it on. Now it doesn't look very good on a chair, so let's just go right up here. We'll pull in a cube from this create box and throw it on there. And you can see you have now imported a material to Unreal Engine. Now, speaking of this Create tab, this will have a bunch of things that we can bring into our world, such as cubes, spheres, cylinders, and a bunch of other stuff as classes as well, such as collision boxes, cameras, and a bunch of other fun stuff that we're going to be getting into in later videos. Now, there's another amazing asset for bringing in objects and meshes and materials and textures into your world, and that's going to be Quixel Bridge, which you can find right over here in your Content tab. And this has a ton of wonderful, very high quality materials and meshes that you can use while working on your worlds completely free. And these are very easy to bring in. So let's say we just go for rocks, pick a 3D asset, go historical, and we'll just pick this one right up here, the Japanese mossy boulder. Now you have to make sure that you are signed in. Now, when you sign in for the first time, you should see a message that pops up like this. And it will be talking about the Unreal license, and this is something that you just had to select one right when you downloaded at the beginning. Because all of these, while being wonderfully free, they are only licensed to be used with Unreal Engine, so you can't take them, export them, and use them elsewhere. If you're going to use them, you must only use them inside the program. Just hit agree, hit now, got it, and then you're all set up. Now you can't drag them in from this picture, you have to drag them in from their smaller image down here. So let's take these rocks, put them right into this world, and you're gonna have to give them a second. But as it loads in, it does allow you to move it and place it as you want as it starts adding all the features that it came with. And that's how to import stuff from Quixel Bridge. Now, if in all your excitement, you have changed something, say you close the details tab or you close the world outliner, and you don't know how to get back in there because there's nothing here on the side, don't worry, don't panic. All you need to do is go up to this window right here, click load layout, and you press default editor layout. And it will bring back all of the tabs as they are right as you turn it on. So here you can fix mistakes or even save displays that you actually find more useful just based on whatever project you're working on. All right, so we're almost through. The very last thing we need to get started on Unreal Engine 5 is just a little bit of content management so we can keep our sanity. So what we're going to do is we're going to come down, content, in content, we're going to right click on new folder, and this is just going to be where you should save your content. I call mine, and then in here, I'm going to create 4 more folders. One called maps, one called materials, one called meshes, and one called textures. And this will help me keep what I'm working on separated from what comes in preloaded. And so I'm just going to open up this branch, go back over here, and take my wonderful 2 materials, and I'm going to drag them into textures. Move here, and then there they are for whenever I want to put them onto something else. Very last thing, and you should do it more than this, is you're going to want to come down to your content drawer and hit save all. That way you don't lose anything you've spent your hard work on. And just do that super frequently. Come down here, do it down there. You can press Control S, or you can come up to File and press Save All there. There's a lot of ways you can do it. And that is the basics of what you need to get started in Unreal Engine 5. So please, if that was helpful, reach out, let me know if there's something you think I missed that you think I should have added in this video. Maybe we could edit another video, leave it in the comments. I am down to hear back from you for what you guys think we could do to make this better. If you guys get way far ahead of me and start making crazy stuff, you can come onto my Discord. It's a whole server. There should be a link for that down here as well. And because I'm always excited to see what you guys are going to be getting up to. If you liked this video at all in any respect, please do drop a like, subscribe, I will be trying to get more of these out to you in the future, so that way we can all make the best worlds we can in this wonderful, powerful engine. I want to remind you that I do not know where you are, and I do not know what time it is for you when you're watching this. So I would like to wish you a good morning, great day, and a nice night. I hope to see each and every single one of you back in here really soon. But until I do, please remember to take it easy.